Okay, now we have our background. We can click on this lock button, which will allow us to lock this background and we will not able to move it. The only way to change now our background is to click on this lock button to unlock it, and now we can move it around or select it and change the color. But this lock feature is really handy in case if you will animate some other shapes and don't want to be able to select the background. So I'm gonna lock it. And it's a good idea to save your project from time to time. So let's do exactly that. We can go to File, Save as, I'm gonna name it my project class, and save wherever you like, and click Save. So from my original example, you can see that we've created this kind of character, which just looks like he's in 3D space, because we clearly can see where exactly this ball is looking at. So let's try to create this ball with this animation. So first of all, to start easy, we will create just a simple circle. To create a circle, we can click here and hold and select this ellipse tool. And about from the center, you can left mouse click and drag to the right like this to create a circle. To create a circle from the center where you clicked, you just need to press Ctrl and hold, or Command if you're on a Mac. And to have a perfect circle shape, you want to hold Shift as well. So as you can see, now I'm holding Ctrl and Shift, and this allows me to create a perfect circle from the center. And while you're holding it, you can just drag it and make it larger or smaller, just by dragging to the right or to the left. Just pick a size which you like. I like this kind of size. It doesn't really matter because we can change it later on. So let's see how we can change and adjust this circle. First of all, we can select this shape layer and go to Align here to this panel. And if you cannot see this Align panel, you can go to Window and enable it from here, Align. It will allow us to set it to the middle. So with this Align horizontally, we will align horizontally and align vertically. And we can also change this anchor point. By the way, this anchor point is the point from where our animation is. So for example, if I would change the scale, it will animate from this anchor point. Or if I'm gonna change the rotation, it also rotates from this anchor point. So to set this anchor point to the center, you can just select this shape layer and press Ctrl Alt Home. And as you can see, it set it exactly to the center. Now we can change the colors of this circle. So to change colors, as you remember, we want to go to the fill. So let's click here and set it to simple white color. Just drag it down and change to the white color and click OK. In our case, we don't want to use a gradient, so we can just click here on Fill Word and change to the solid color. So it would be much simpler. And let's change to white color once again. Let's call it this shape layer circle. So to rename it, we want to press Enter on keyboard and call it circle. And now we can stylize it a bit more. So it's time to create another shape inside of this shape layer. As you remember from first video, I've said that we can have multiple shapes in one shape layer. So to create another shape, for example, we would want to have this kind of rim and also this kind of glow. We would want to create another circle and another bigger one. So for this, you can use Ellipse tool and create another one. But it's a bit hard to create a perfect one and then adjust the position so it would match to the first one. So this is why we are not going to do this in this way. We are going to delete this ellipse tool, which I've just created. And we can just select this ellipse one and duplicate it. It's much easier. So let's select this ellipse tool and press Ctrl D to duplicate, or go to Edit, Duplicate. So now with this second ellipse tool, we can scroll down here and disable the fill, and we can just change the transform of this ellipse. So let's go to the transform options and change this scale. Let's make it a bit bigger like this. And now we can just switch off the fill option and enable the stroke option. And if we will open this stroke, we can change the stroke width. which will allow us to change the width of this circle. Something like 6 or 7 looks fine to me. And we can now close this stroke one, as well as transform option. Also, we can close this ellipse 2, which we can also rename it just by pressing Enter. And we can just rename it to ring. This we can name it as core. And now we can duplicate core one more time. Just select core and press Ctrl D to duplicate it. Set it above. And let's open core. And maybe let's rename it. Just press Enter on keyboard. And let's name it glow. And here in transform, we can change the scale to make it even bigger. And as you can see in transform, we have a bunch of options. We can even change the position of it if you would want, rotation, opacity, and more. In our case, we want to change the opacity, so it would look like simple glow. I'll set mine to 15 for now, and let's close it, our glow. And now, as you can see, we have all of these shapes inside of one circle, which is really handy because we are going to animate this circle around like this. And we will not have to animate each of these shapes one by one. And in case if we would want to animate these circles one by one, we would create another shape on different shape layers. But that would be a more advanced technique which we will cover later in this class. And now I just want to change this color overall. If I'm gonna select this circle and we'll try to change the fill color to any other color, it will change only the color of some of these parts of these shapes, which is not what we want. We can press Ctrl Z to undo this moment, and we can go one by one and change the fill color here like this, then ring color and stroke, because we used stroke, and change to other color, for example, and also glow. We've used fill, so we would go to fill. And by the way, to quickly check what we've used, you can see on this eyeball. So if I'm gonna click on it, we will disable it or enable it. So this is how I can quickly say what we are used and change the color. So this is how you can separately change the color of your shape. In my case, I don't want to use different kind of colors. I want to have one color overall. And there is easier way to do this. You can just go to Effects and Presets here, wait for this to load up, and use effect called fill. Just type it here, fill, and go to generate fill. Or you can go to effect, but make sure that you selected your circle. Then go to effect, generate fill. But in future, you will memorize all of these effects names, and you will be able to type here in Effects and Presets. Just like I did here. Just type the name of the effect which you want to use, and then just left mouse click and drag to the shape which you want to use. So for example, a circle. And as you can see, I've applied another fill effect. So let's delete this one and change this one to lighter cyan color and click OK. So now as you can see, we've changed overall color with just one effect, which is much easier than go to each of these shapes and change it manually. So in the next video, we are going to animate the shape, and later we are going to add this kind of 3D character into our shape. And basically it looks where it wants to go, which gives more life to our animation. See you in the next video.